The Department of Transport says it has a plan to fix potholes in South Africa. The South African National Roads Agency, or Sanral, recently estimated the country's potholes to run into millions. Extreme weather conditions, poor road maintenance and high volumes of load-bearing traffic all contribute to the creation of potholes. As a result, many South Africans have expressed frustration at the number of potholes they encounter every day, which in some instances are the cause of slow-moving traffic as people rush to and from work. Let's explore this issue now of potholes around the country, especially during this rainy season, with Louw Kannemeyer, who is an engineering executive at Sanral. Mr. Kannemeyer, thank you very much indeed for your time. We really do appreciate it. Let's talk about, first of all, I was frustrated just driving to work this morning because we've had a lot of rain over the past couple of weeks, and you have so much damage to the infrastructure, which leaves so many South Africans frustrated. Why are we still sitting with this problem?
Hi, morning. Thanks for the opportunity to be here this morning. I think it's important to realize, if one look at the cause of potholes, because remember, the potholes is really the symptom of something that has gone wrong. So if one just have a quick look, you'll see that, in South Africa, we have about a network of 750,000 kilometers of road, which is the 10th longest road network in the world. If you look at the surface part of that, it's about 160,000 kilometers. Most of that was built more than 20 years ago, if people can recall. Roads typically have a life expectancy of about 20 to 25 years. So as you can appreciate, the bulk of our road network is coming towards the end of its natural design life, meaning that it is incredibly fragile and sensitive for neglect. And this is then where the challenge comes in terms of the lack of preventative maintenance across this network of ours. Because the roads, the preventative maintenance are not done, and preventative maintenance are basic things like cleaning drains so that when it rains, the water runs away, sealing cracks in the surface so that when it rains, the water do not get through the waterproofing layer at the top and wet the layers underneath, because that is when potholes form. So you will see potholes always develop when it rains, and that is because the surface allows water to go through, because the surface have not been kept waterproof.
Yeah. Mr. Kannemeyer, I think while one would appreciate what you're saying, you mentioned the fact that, the stretches of road are coming to the end of their natural design and that there is lack of maintenance. Who should take responsibility for this? I don't think there's any South African who can accept at this point you telling me as Sanral or even the Department of Transport that a lack of maintenance, who's responsible for that maintenance? Isn't it you who are supposed to do the job?
No, you see, that's where the challenge comes in. Constitutionally in this country, the responsibility for maintaining roads is assigned to three spheres of government, at a national, a provincial, and a local level. In total, there are potentially 288 authorities responsible for maintenance of roads, and that is part of the challenge that we have in this country. Even the Minister of Transport himself does not have full jurisdiction in terms of the maintenance at a local level, because that is enshrined within the Constitution. Us at Sanral, for example, we are responsible at the national level, and at the moment we're only responsible for 23,500 kilometers of that 750,000 kilometers. And we cannot, in terms of our act, step in at a provincial level in terms of the Constitution, nor at a local level.
So it sounds like someone is not doing their job. If Sanral is responsible only for a certain portion, you look to the province, somebody's not doing their job. If you look at a local level, somebody's not doing their job. What then needs to happen? Because this doesn't give me any surety about the fact that, the issue regarding potholes, who takes responsibility every single time my tire is damaged? Where do I go? It sounds like a lot of people with different responsibilities here that simply don't help me as a motorist in this country at all.
Yeah, that's the biggest challenge, because I mean, you as a motorist will see, I mean, if your tire is damaged in a pothole, who do you call? Because if you phone the one authority, they'll tell you, no, this is a provincial road. You phone the provincial road, they tell you, no, this is a local road. So what is important to understand is that in South Africa, the jurisdiction of a road while you travel along it can change. So if you look, for example, the N1, if you travel along the N1, say, for example, down in Cape Town, it changes from Sanral to the Western Cape provincial government to the city of Cape Town while you're traveling along the road. There's no sign saying you're now leaving Sanral, entering provincial government road territory, you're now leaving, and that's part of the biggest challenge we have, and that is where, since June this year, Sanral has now been mandated by Cabinet to set up a central data repository of all the roads in the country, including who owns those roads, so that we for once and for all can clearly identify who is responsible for which section of road in the country. Secondly, we have deployed, or we altered our apps that we use to be able to accommodate reports on all roads in the country, and we're now using our technology to assist the road user who just reports via one app a problem, and we then identify who's the responsible authority and make sure that information gets passed to the correct authority for them to take the necessary action.
Should the Act then change, in your view? Because you're now sitting with the situation where you say you've now been tasked with the responsibility of getting that database together to see who's responsible for what. But then again, every time it rains, we've got to deal with the same challenge over and over again. And the only thing that happens in certain areas, whether it's in the townships or in the suburbs, all you get is a little piece of tar that comes and closes the problematic area. When it rains again, you're back to square one. And it's almost as if you're working backwards. What exactly is the problem here?
Yeah, I think clearly, as I indicated, unfortunately, the intention of our constitution, although noble, has severely resulted in negative impacts for the road network. We cannot have 288 authorities responsible for roads. We need to seriously consolidate that, potentially into the 44 district municipalities, because then we can make sure that there are technical people deployed to those, because as it stands at the moment, of that 288 authorities, over 100 has no technical expertise working for them. So how can you then respond to do preventative maintenance if you have no engineers in your employment?
All right, Mr. Louw Kannemeyer, thank you very much indeed for that. You're an engineering executive at Sanral, and while indeed you say there are so many of these authorities that are responsible for ensuring that these potholes are fixed, I think every time there's a massive level of frustration from motorists with regard to the state of our roads. Thank you very much, though, for joining us.